Hey, we're live now. I told Joe right before, I'm like, we're just gonna be laughing. It's
Uh-huh.
giggle time. We were just giggling.
That
And
we
hey,
were
James, thank you for being
James
here with the cat. I appreciate that, of course,
is
like
here.
always. We're here to talk about Giant Days Part 2, which, what
This
trades
is
was that? I was just like grabbing
uh
my trades. Was that like 10 to the end? Was it 10?
I got 8. I think it's
Oh,
8 to the
8 to the end. Okay, 8 to the end. I think I
because I
read
think
ahead and I got confused.
we talked about early registration into
Right.
7 the
Right,
last
8 to the
time.
end.
But
8 to
this
the
show is
end.
long overdue because life kept getting in the way.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, for both of us, for sure. Mary's
Mary,
here. Hey, Mary.
what's up?
Um, but we will begin by saying we're not going to spoil this whole series for everyone. Okay, we can't
Hmm.
do that. Because one, everyone in the world should read it. I don't know if you feel that way
Absolutely.
after reading all of it, but like I still feel that
Absolutely.
way. Okay,
Yep.
good, good.
Absolutely.
So where do we begin? We're certainly not going to go issue by issue. We were just talking about that. There's too many. There's too many issues, guys. There's too many
There
of
is.
them. We're not doing that. There's too many trades. I will say, of course, many people watching may know about the Kickstarter that happened. They are printing new hardcovers in full of the entire series. Those are coming out next year from
Right.
Boom. That's very exciting. So if you
2
missed
different
out,
covers.
yeah, if you missed out, they're coming out and they're very pretty, all the editions. And of course, I must grab them. But the
Yes.
not on the test editions, they were finishing Kickstarter only. I'm very excited.
I'm kind of
Finally
kicking
finishing them.
myself that I didn't go with that.
Yeah,
What are those called again?
this is
Uh,
not on the test
this is
editions.
right.
So they
I
look
went with
kind of
the other
like,
one.
yeah, they look like it looks like a
Yeah,
yearbook kind of. And there's like nice, I don't
yeah.
know, there's nice characters on each one. They're all different colors. The spines are black with like
See,
a
I'm
color.
regretting not going with those. I went with
They're
the other ones.
they're really nice, and they're like there's like this nice texture. I don't know what they
Yeah,
call it. There's nice texture, and it
right.
looks like they're in school. Because you look like it's like a
Yeah,
college book.
they look like exactly. That's why I'm kicking myself now.
Well,
But
I'm
I'm just happy to
sure.
have them
Yeah,
in a
and they're
hardcover.
the new ones are really nice looking too. And
Right.
I almost doubled it. I was like, do I need those too?
Can I
And
get both?
I still may. I mean, why though? I know it doesn't make sense, but we'll see
I
one day.
I had to fight myself from getting the sketch,
Oh my gosh.
which was
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount of money, but I would love
Yeah.
to have a sketch from John Allison would be amazing.
I mean, I
So,
have that. Do I have my yeah, I do have a daisy
yeah,
that Reed got me at one point.
I'm so jealous of that. That's so cool.
So I want
So
all of
cool.
them. You still
Yeah.
may be able. He just got it on John's website. They may
Oh,
still
really?
exist. It was quite cheap. Yeah, back when he got it.
Do you know if he does conventions much?
I think he does Thought Bubble every now and then, and that's the one in the
Hmm.
UK.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But if he's done,
Hmm.
he's probably done stuff over here. I think it's just been a while,
Yeah, I'm
sadly,
sure.
because I would
I'm sure
love to meet
COVID
him.
has something to do with it as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, I would love to meet him.
oh
Uh,
well. Oh
well, hi,
well.
Chris.
What's
Chris
up,
is here.
Chris?
So yeah, well, we finished it. How do you feel now that you finished it? Like, are you
Um,
bummed it's done?
I,
Did you want it to go on forever?
so it's like one of these shows that it's so well done that you don't want it to keep going because you're scared that at somewhere down the line they're gonna fumble it and it's not gonna be what you loved. So I'm happy that it did end. I'm happy with the way it ended. There was some curveballs in terms of relationships and things like that. It very much felt like I'm gonna put myself out there. It very much felt like Dawson's Creek. I'm a fan of Dawson's Creek in
Okay.
terms of not so much of the type of show it is, but like the way it ended, where you thought, person A and person B were gonna be together. No, that didn't happen, or just things like that. But in terms of the series as a whole, and if I ramble, you just stop me at any point.
Never.
The series as a whole, from the first volume or early registration to the extra credit. I love that you could see the ladies progress. It felt like you're watching them go through the 4 years of actual school, to where they're, young and just full of energy and doing crazy stuff in the beginning, and then they become almost like full blown adults, even to the artwork where it shows like the wardrobe change through the years, like Susan, where she started and where she ends up, just wardrobe wise. It's like, oh, okay. She's becoming a doctor, and she's, kind of getting established. So yeah, the artwork and the writing just through the entire run was fantastic. Obviously there's some issues that I like better than others, or they were more funnier than others, but as a whole, I thought it was fantastic. So
I absolutely agree. I often say this is my favorite series of all time, because it is.
right.
And I haven't reread it though, like maybe ever. I read through it, and that was kind of it. Like I was just like, okay, that was it. I don't, I was never a big rereader, but like this year I've reread a lot, and this is one of them I'm so happy I did. And it's one that like I feel like I can keep reading and finding things throughout it, because even my second reread, and that may sound silly because like it is a slice of life book, right? It's like about friendship entirely, really. But seeing it again and seeing their personalities progress, right? There's true, like such good character development that you don't expect, because again, you can pick up an issue and put it down and have a full story and you're good.
Right.
But there are these threads throughout it, and there are certain things. Susan's a great example. Like, I mean, they all are, like Susan and her temperament, right? Throughout the entire thing.
Right.
Changes in such a big, like, great way that's very realistic to her as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd say the same for Esther. Like, she was quite immature in the beginning,
Absolutely, yeah.
and she progressed so much in a great way. Right. Daisy was so scared, so timid in the beginning, and then you really saw strong Daisy when you got to the end. I feel like those aren't huge spoilers or anything for anybody. I mean, that's just like great character development.
Yeah.
And what you were rooting for the whole time for all of them. I feel like we got that,
Absolutely. Yeah, you had a... Oh, go ahead.
Important question, Joe. Are you Team Dawson or Team Pacey? I'm a huge Dawson's Creek fan.
I mean, I wanted Dawson, and it was my Brooklyn came out. Dawson, my Dawson and Joey to end up together, but so yeah, I'm Team Dawson. I liked Pacey. There was some, whatever.
Chris is Team Pacey. I have zero boat in this game. Like, I did not watch it. No. I just didn't watch it. I know of these names. That's it. That's all I got.
Sorry. Gabby tried to go and watch it. She came out of the rooms like that. I can't. It's like, how dare you? How dare you? I used to run home from work and get ready for 8:00 for it to start. So
that's so fun. Were you into Gilmore Girls at all?
No. It was something about this show.
That's where I got Team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Cool.
Thank God.
That's so
but
funny.
Yeah, there was something about that show that I was like, I gravitated to, and I was like, I have to watch it every week. So,
well, speaking of characters and the will they, won't they of it all, you referenced it earlier, but that is, I told you I wrote down a few questions, and that is one of them. The will they, won't they of Esther and Ed. We won't ruin how that ends.
Right.
But I need to know, for everyone who's read it, they know, did you enjoy that conclusion? Is that what you were wanting for them?
I did. I'm very much, well, no, I don't want to spoil it. Yes, let's just say yes. I did like the way it ended. There's the one issue where it comes to light, kind of, and was a fantastic issue. The emotional roller coaster that one person goes on after certain feelings come out or whatever is something. Yeah, and I liked where they ended up.
I agree.
but I don't, I'm trying to be very careful.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people are gonna even watch part 2 and care, honestly, but
I mean, everybody should read it.
I know, that's why I'm like, I feel like anyone who stumbles upon this who hasn't, like, needs to read it, and I don't want to ruin that. I think that's there's a huge thing throughout it where you're kind of like, Ed's in love with Esther. There's a lot that's involved in that throughout all the issues.
Correct.
You have a lot of feelings in both camps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like how that was done. I thought it was very real to those characters. I feel like there wouldn't have been a good conclusion another way.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
So, without ruining it.
Yeah. And then just to jump back into what I remember you asking me in the first episode that we did was my favorite character. Right? So I'm jumping the gun. I know you have a little list there, but
that's what's funny is you want to know my number one question on here? Who was your favorite character at the beginning/end? And did this change throughout?
It did change for me because I had mentioned that Esther was my favorite in the first episode, but now seeing the whole story through, for me it was Daisy. She had a bunch of emotional beats with her grandmother, with coming out, with her girlfriend. I don't want to spoil that either, but at the time, she went through a ride, but also remained loyal to the girls, was always there for them. She, being the mother figure for them. Susan always felt like the more adult of the three, but Daisy felt the more caring of the group. Very OCD, clean, all that stuff. But yeah, she easily became my favorite. I was teeter-tottering a little bit, but it just landed on Daisy. It was Ed, because I know Ed is not a main character, but he became kind of one over time.
Yeah.
And he went through some stuff too, but when you think of Giant Days, you get to think of the trio. So I'm going with Daisy.
It's a great pick, and something I also mentioned. I was talking to Reed about this before. He actually hasn't finished it, which is honestly a problem. And I don't know why he's living in this house if he hasn't finished it. But we're gonna have to fix it. I told him. But one of the things he mentioned was he started out in the series with Daisy being his favorite, and then as he read more, it changed around, and he made a really good point. Like, this is one of those series, maybe the only comics that I've ever read as well, where it's hard to pick a favorite character because all of them, even the villains throughout it, there's something you end up liking about them as well, right? So it very much does bounce back and forth from issue to issue. At least it did for me as well. I'm like, wait, but she's my favorite. But wait, they're my favorite. Like, it's difficult to pick because they're all so good. Oh, Reed's here. Let me get the trades and I'll finish it. Just you just brought them to me. You take them back. Yeah, just I have them all here for no reason.
Yeah, you got to read it. Read it. So good.
Truly.
Yeah. Now if and when he finishes, you need to let me know what was his final outcome on character.
Yeah, I'm curious too, for sure.
Because I feel like, you ask a bunch of people, they're gonna give you a bunch of different answers. So
yeah, I think if I was forced to pick, I'd probably pick Daisy too. But I felt myself bouncing back and forth throughout with Ed at some point, with Susan. It was hard throughout that, but Daisy just had such good growth throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Great characters.
They literally all did.
Yeah.
All did. And even, like I said, McGraw, Ed, they came in as secondary characters, but then became part of, they were part of the cast through and through. And so even, they had their own story beats for, not being the trio. So, there was moments that I love McGraw.
Absolutely. Which, speaking of,
Mm-hmm.
one of my questions.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your favorite moments? When you say McGraw, I think about he went through a really emotional thing of
I texted you
yeah,
when
yeah,
I read that.
a great loss for him.
Yeah.
And what I loved about that issue in particular, well, I guess there
Mm-hmm.
was a few throughout there, right? With him struggling,
Right.
was seeing his relationship with Susan
Mm-hmm.
and their differences in how they handle emotions and how they handle their relationship and how they worked through that.
Right.
And again, their characters just kept growing because of these things that were happening. To
Absolutely.
see an emotional beat like that in such a like fun, lighthearted series mostly made you be like, oh yeah, this series has everything, right?
Right. Right. Because it even had, they play around sometimes with supernatural things, and
Yeah.
just for, sometimes you think of it, oh, okay, it's just for a comedic beat, but then, as you're reading, you're like, no, this is a story grounded in reality. Like things happen, that would happen in real life, happen in this book. So, and that was a big moment for me because I remember reading it and I was kind of gutted. There's a particular panel that it's burned in my mind that I remember showing Gabby and was like, I can't take this. That's when I
Oh.
sent you a message. I was like, wait a minute. So it was weird seeing him in that way. And I mean, we're kind of talking about it's kind of a sad moment, but because you just see him as kind of a rock.
Mm.
He's always there for everybody also. He's the handyman, everybody needs him for something to fix, he's always there. So as much as you're reading him, you think of, okay, he's the backbone to, this group. They could always rely, like even the girls hang out with him one-on-one. Like he
Yeah.
plays pool with Daisy. He does
It's
things
so
with
fun.
Esther.
Yeah.
So to see him in that sad moment was just like, I am not ready for this. And to see how Susan handles it, because she is such a tough character also. And the scene, the panel I'm talking about is when they hug, where
Mm.
he's like playing chess and he kind of just like breaks down. That hurt reading it. So
Which, speaking of that particular moment, I mean,
mm-hmm.
we go back to this art, which
Mm-hmm.
Max Sarin does throughout most of it.
Yeah.
And it's so cartoony and vibrant and colorful, but it's so perfect for even the emotional beats. Like, I think about his eyes in that moment, and it was just so well done. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, you're conveying a lot with like not a lot, you know?
Absolutely. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, because I like to draw, but there's certain things that I need to practice on it. Just seeing the simplicity of the artwork, but it conveys so much in just simple changes of lines, and I was like, wow, this guy is out of control good.
It's so
And
good.
yeah.
And I think about the moment with his eyes, but even kind of burned into my head as well is Esther's parents.
Mm-hmm.
When you see them like across the room and they're like upset about, them and Esther going through some stuff. And
Right.
they've got the big wide eyes that are like
Mm-hmm.
going to cry at any moment in time. And I'm like, how are you doing this with so little, really? Like,
Right.
there's nothing realistic about Max's art, but like it conveys so much.
And we touched on it a little bit in the first episode, where even the teeth
Mm.
convey emotion in certain characters. It's like the sharp teeth with Susan, or the
Oh,
the
that's my
full
favorite.
the full teeth when there's like a big grin. Yeah, he
It's
does
so
a
good.
lot with very, I hate to call it simple, yeah, clean, very clean
Clean.
artwork.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and that's why I'm happy to have him in hardcover.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm so excited to
Chris,
finally finish that.
correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chris. McGraw's last issue was so touching. Absolutely.
Mhm. For
Something I
sure.
feel like was unexpected, but so good.
Oh, completely. And the way they did it was like almost like they're dropping the bomb.
Mhm.
Sometimes that happens in real life, right?
Yeah.
And it happened here because you're reading the book and like, okay, this is lighthearted, having fun, laughing. Maybe a couple pages before that, you're laughing, and then boom, So
Now you want to cry. Yeah.
yeah. Right.
It's good
Yeah.
storytelling.
Yes. 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 Yes.
But speaking of the great characters and the side characters, which character would you
Mhm.
like to have a spinoff? And it could be one of the girls. It could be one of the main three.
Oh, that's such a good question. The reason why, I mean, I have an answer, but it
Mm.
will lead to a potential spoiler. That it's going to be Ed for me
Okay. Yeah.
because he's on this path, um, with just with his job and what's going on with him, that I'm super interested in. But I would love to also like see like a TV show with like just Susan and McGraw. Right? It would be funny
Yeah.
just to see them like how they live with each other and what's their day to day like. So that would be a cool book to have as well.
I
Um,
I think I just want an update on every character and their relationships.
Right. I mean, he should do that.
Right?
Like, just come out with an annual, like, whatever, maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Just give us what they're
Keep
doing.
giving me updates. Yeah, you can do some time skips.
That's it.
Let me know what's going on with them. Give me an update.
Absolutely.
I actually love that idea, which kind of leads me to, did you like the time jump? The very last issue, we experienced a time jump
Right.
of, I believe, a few years later.
Yes. Yeah, they're definitely established in the real world.
And
I
they're
did
going
like the
through
time jump.
stuff.
Yeah. I definitely like the time jump because you get to see, like I said, you get to see them in the real world outside of university life. Um, so that was cool to see because I don't know if the last issue ended, whatever a day after the previous, or I don't know if it would have worked
hmm
because I very much wanted to see them. Well, what do they do after college? And
We
not,
needed that
I'm not
closure.
right, and I'm not talking about a couple weeks or maybe after the summers. I'm talking about like, yes, let's see a couple, years down the line and see where they're at. Because, like I said, you see them as young kids going into college, kind of being immature or whatever, and now you're seeing them as a full blown adult. I like that closure. So
I
yeah,
agree. And that's something that, like, we definitely needed. Plus, that last issue was like a supersized one. So when it came out,
yeah,
it's like 60 plus pages, I
yeah.
think. And I was so excited when, like, I physically bought like two different copies or like
Do
two
you have them
covers.
in floppies also?
I do, yeah, I do.
All of them.
Not all of them.
Okay, okay,
None of them. I just felt like I needed that last issue, you know? And I
okay.
think I've picked up some random ones throughout the years just for
Sure.
covers or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I had to buy the last one because it was like a big oversized thing, and I wanted to read it immediately too. I was like, I don't want to wait around. I need this. I want to know what happens.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was fun. I like doing that.
it's good.
But
That's good.
but yeah, I think it couldn't have ended in a better way, and we really saw where the relationship was, because you're like, hey, how are you're not going to be living in the same city. I think we already know that. We're just like, realistically, you're probably not going to stick around in the same place
Right.
you're at right now. How are these girls, like, how are the relationships going to develop with each other? Like, what's
Right.
going on? And I thought it was a perfect ending, honestly. I don't know how else he could have done it. Same Chris and I needed the last issue. Chris knows what's up.
Chris knows what's up. But it was, and it's also like real life getting in the way, right? We kind of talked about it before we went on the air, where the girl, Daisy and Susan, are trying to make plans with Esther, but things keep getting in the way, work or whatever, and until they take it upon themselves and like, let's find out why she's really not coming in or coming in, to visit them. So yeah, no, it was. I think it was well done. Though, like I hate saying the same thing over and over, but
I feel the same. Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah, I remember. So I again mentioning Gabby, but she's like my go-to comic, related, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying, but what. So I talked to her about what's my favorite like comic book series in terms of long, drawn out series. So my number one was always Invincible because I just love the way that goes. But this might be better.
Say what we got to get Gabby to read this. What's going on? Like,
is going to jump on it because
Okay,
every
good,
time she
good.
sees what I'm reading, she's like, "Oh my god!" Because again, like I mentioned, how I said the wardrobe changes and all that stuff, and I remember her sitting right next to me on the sofa, and she was like, "Oh, they do look different," and I was like, "I
Yeah.
know, you need to read it."
Plus, what a great series for like that age too, right? I feel
Absolutely,
like she's a perfect age for
yeah.
experiencing things along with them, right?
Right. This was the I remember when you had discussed this before I even read it. I was nervous about reading it because I never read anything like this before. It was always superheroes and
Mm.
all that stuff, dark comics. And so this was definitely a change because here's a comedy about three women going to college in the UK. It was I was hooked from like the first couple of issues. So it was like, oh, well, I'm definitely seeing this through because so to the point where I'm kickstarting
Yeah.
a whole set of hardcovers. So
I love that so much.
yeah, really, really well done.
I knew that is the end of my list because I needed to know how you felt about the ending.
Mhm.
I also thought it was the perfect ending,
Yeah.
but you did bring up a good point. This is all set in the UK.
Mhm.
Were there ever times when you were like, "What are they saying?" Because I felt like a dumb kid from Kentucky.
Yeah, no, I
Like
definitely
I was
felt
like, "What's happening here?"
yeah. I felt that way, but there was also moments that I forgot that they were in the UK.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That happened more than me saying, what was this?" Um,
Did you ever
but
feel like
uh
because I assume you're reading and maybe you have your own voices in your head for these
Oh, absolutely,
characters.
yeah.
At least throughout the middle of it, when I got toward the end, I was like, okay, they have British accents now for sure. Like I was picking up on little bits of slang and stuff, and I'm like, okay, for sure, that's what's happening.
Right, but funny enough, I
They did.
never voiced them with British accents,
Yeah.
which now I might need to reread
You need to
in
just to
that
have
way.
that. In your
I'm gonna read it out
Love
loud
that.
and make the accent myself.
Yeah, yeah, love that.
Yeah, no, yeah, there was moments that I forgot they were in the UK, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, there was definitely some words and some things that were said, some maybe slang that I was like, I don't know what that means.
Like in a
But
fun way. I
yeah,
remember there being only like I think there was only one moment I can think of where there was like a
mhm,
translation because
mhm.
it was so like, wait, what would this like? I think he was like, dumb Americans, they're not going to get this. Like, we need to spell it out. You know what I'm
I'm,
talking
I'm
about?
trying. I'm
I
trying to
can't.
remember now.
I should have
Like,
like probably stickied some pages more than
put a
I
little
did.
post-it note on that one.
Yeah, which does lead me to. Well, I
Uh,
did take one photo of
mhm,
one of the last trades. Here we go. Where I can't bring it up on screen, but I can read it to you. And
mhm,
it's when Nina, who Ed
okay,
ends up dating Nina.
correct.
Nina's like a tall,
I
strong
love Nina.
woman.
I
She's
love
awesome.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved her and Ed together too. Like that's such a great pairing. Little
Yes.
Ed, big Nina. It's great.
Right.
So some of Esther's roommates, Esther and Ed's roommates,
Mhm,
Dean, another guy that I can't think of the
mhm,
name of,
mhm.
they're like behind a door, right? And they're peeking in, and Nina's like in the kitchen, like drunk and throwing things everywhere, and they're kind of freaking out. So the guy goes, "I don't think we can take her, Dean. She's like the She-Hulk." And Dean's like, "Yes, but is it the savage or sensational She-Hulk?" And the other guy's like, "That's the kind of granular approach we need. What's She-Hulk? What's weakness?" And then Esther goes, "An unreceptive marketplace." And I was like, "This is the best." It was way before the show, of course,
Right,
but it was
exactly.
also like, yeah,
Yeah,
hilarious. So like just little moments like that
yeah,
that are so like real life stab to the comic industry of what
absolutely.
flies off the shelf and what doesn't.
Right. Yeah, that even well, Esther working in the comic book shop, uh, just that alone throws a little bit of, some daggers at the comic industry. Some of the comments that they say, it's pretty funny. But
And
that then
her stuff too. Her little comments while she worked there were so good.
yeah, right. And mentioning Nina, the issue where Ed visits her family in
Oh
Australia.
my gosh,
So
yes.
funny.
Yes,
So
which
much
Chris
fun.
just mentioned too. Their trip
Yeah,
down under
yeah.
issue was so much
Oh
fun.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
It was
so
so good.
hilarious.
It was so good. Just hijinks everywhere. Hi,
Yeah, for
Hayden.
sure.
Always it's pretty's guest. Yeah, the bots are
Yeah.
back. That's what's happening.
Oh, the bots are back. Oh no.
I can never like with StreamYard, you can't tell if anyone's gotten them or not. So I'm just like, okay, maybe they're still there, maybe they're not. Sorry, everyone. I'm gonna check. But Nina, yeah, what? Okay, who's your favorite?
Uh-huh.
Who's your favorite beyond like McGraw, of course?
Right.
Who is your favorite like person a main character was in a relationship with? So like a Nina,
right.
like you know Daisy, any of her people.
So I liked you mentioned Daisy. I liked Ingrid for the only fact that she caused chaos for the girls. So
All
there
the
was
time,
always
yeah.
something, yes, all the time. There was some kind of issue, either it be the mural that she did in the living room, which was hilarious. And you know, she's leaving curling irons on, you know, on the sink in the bathroom, causing their electric bill to be, you know, ridiculous amount of money. So she was a great plot point, I guess, in terms of like getting the girls all worked up for whatever reason, and they kind of like, we need to talk to Daisy about Ingrid because she's always here, and you know, so I liked her a lot. But then when Nina came along, she kind of stole the show for me. I was like, I wanted more Nina.
Yeah.
She was just very fun.
Yeah, Nina was a blast.
Yeah, and honest, genuine. She's like, this is me. Like, I'm into rugby. Well, we also had that little dramatic moment with her and her possibly drinking issue. And that's what I like. On top of you having all this, you know, these funny moments and these characters that you love, some of these characters have flaws, and they have a great support system or support group around them that are helping them out and, you know, calling them out when they say, hey, well, you have a problem and, you know, we can get you through this. So it was very cool to see, you know, these little moments. So
even the moment like with all of the Nina stuff, Ed was really like, hey, I don't know if I can do this, you know, and Esther was there to say, you need to get it together because if you love her, like, you've got to make this happen. And that was a really great moment too, where you're like, oh, these characters are not at all one dimensional. None of them. Like, they have layers and layers, and unexpected moments kept happening where I was like, okay, I didn't think that would happen, but this makes total sense with the character, you know? Just felt like real people.
Yeah. And you know, like it's substance abuse, and then you had Susan in the earlier trades with her smoking issue. So they definitely touch on real topics, and how these people get help or can, you know, suddenly change it around for the better or realize what they're doing is not right or unhealthy or whatever. But it has moments like that within this, for the most part, a comedy book, right? It's a funny book. It's, you know, slice of life. But I felt like almost every other issue I'm cracking up out loud. So
yeah, I absolutely agree.
But now I want to reread it because, like you said, if you're finding these little, you know, pieces of gold within a reread, I might have to do that. So I'll wait for the hardcover to come in.
I think that's a good way to go because I'm going to have to do that as well.
Yes.
And I didn't expect that either because I was like, okay, I loved it so much. It's an all-time favorite, but what am I going to get on a reread? But like, I got so much, and so much of it you like forget after time, of course, you know, you read enough, but
yeah, the big moments you remember, but it's some of the smaller moments that make you laugh or, they make you feel a certain way. So I'll give it a read for sure.
And it's, you know, it's a great time to mention if anyone has read the series and maybe they haven't read what's contained in the extra credit volume.
Right.
There's tons of holiday specials on this.
Which is a great time to read.
All a blast. Yeah, it's like the perfect time right now, but also just like you can jump into this and just have a nice time no matter where you are in the series. Let's say you've read a few trades.
Right.
This is still accessible. They're very much one-shots, and Yeah, they're great for the times. Like the first one was what would happen if the girls never became friends? And it's like, how great.
And
It was so well done.
the cosmic being of Daisy.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, that was very cool to see. But he could do more things like these little one shot books where we just see where
Yeah.
life takes him.
I wish he
Um,
would.
it's such a it's such a cool idea. I mean, I'm guessing maybe from a sales standpoint might be an issue. I don't know. I know I would grab it. I know you would grab it.
Right. Well, and that Kickstarter was quite successful. So
Right.
I would argue that there's still an audience out there for
Yeah.
more
Like give us one
one shots.
trade, one little,
Yeah.
floppy. That's it.
Yeah. Give me a
60 issue
nice
floppy. Done.
little one shot, even if it's a holiday every year. Just give me a little
Right.
holiday dose. I would love that.
And let's see them age even further. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. Like, why stop here? Let's have a
I
comic where you're seeing the characters age and go through
yes.
other real life stuff.
What does Esther look like as a granny? I need to know this. What's she talking about when she's
Right.
80? What's
Right.
happening?
But we say it. I mean, you say it a lot. Some of the best moments within superhero comics are when they are just doing real life stuff and having real
Yeah.
conversations. But and that's why going back to just seeing a character age. That's why Spider-Man Life Story I think was so great. Just seeing them age,
Mhm.
going through the years. Let's see that. We need more
Yeah,
of that.
these are fake characters. We can see their
Right.
whole life. Show it to us.
Exactly. Exactly.
Make us
We
feel
find
better about our lives and show me their lives. That's all I'm asking.
That's it. That's all I
That's
ask.
it.
It's sad that there is currently no more. So I
Yeah.
sent you a text when I finished. I was like, yeah, I'm sad, but I'm also, like I said in the beginning of the show, I don't want him to fumble it. I don't think he can, but you never know.
Well,
So
it's true. And we do technically have a spin-off series that we could enjoy together after this,
what's the spinoff series?
Wicked Game.
Wicked Game?
Yeah.
I
You
don't.
know about this, don't you?
We
You
talking
don't know
about,
about this?
why did
Hold on.
we talked about Steeple?
Yeah, that's a whole other universe. So why can't I think of her name right now? Lolly? Was it Lolly? Little
Okay.
girl that Esther's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah.
Wait, don't tell me there's a
Yeah.
wait. So can I renege my what comment before where I said about who's the best like secondary character? Because Lolly is amazing.
She's awesome.
So is she the star of this
Yeah.
book that you're mentioning?
Yeah, and it's not like ongoing. It's done, I believe. I'm trying to look it up right now because I can't remember. But
How did we not have this conversation, Kristen?
I thought you knew. I just thought
No.
everybody knew everything. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I have
If
no
I can make
idea.
it pull up, hold on. I have it. I have it somewhere. I'm just
Okay. What is it? A trade?
yeah. So it's just one trade. Wicked Things.
Okay.
There you go. Starring Charlotte Groot. Lil Lolly.
Oh, I'm getting that like tomorrow.
It got copies of the Panic. Yeah, that's the only bummer, right? Like it
Oh,
didn't
really?
keep going because it's one trade,
Oh,
but
man.
you can enjoy that.
Okay. I will. So then we need to talk about that.
Yeah, I think from now on, maybe I need to get you, I need to get you to read all of the John Allison series and then come on here and talk about them with me. We
Well,
can
I
do
just got
Steeple.
Steeple. I just got all
Yeah.
three.
All three? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to rock with that.
Love to do that.
Mhm.
Of course, there's Bad Machinery, which is an
Yeah,
oldie but a goodie.
Right,
Yeah.
I remember us talking about that. That's the one I thought you were mentioning, but then it was like,
No,
wait,
and
what
then
is it?
and then
You-
Wicked Things. Yeah.
Okay. So
Just one
Wicked Things
trade.
is Wicked Things the only one in the Giant Days universe?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I'm in. I
But
seriously want to pick this up tomorrow.
I mean, she was such a great character, right? Like, the whole
Oh,
time you're just like,
fantastic.
yeah, you could do your whole series. Yeah, your own. Yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing because she was like a kid where she's brutally honest and is gonna let you know how she felt. Yeah, she was great. I loved her.
Chris has all the knowledge. He's been doing 3-day-a-week stories with Charlotte and more Steeple. I've been hearing about this, but I just never read anything online anymore.
What is that on?
I think it's just on his website from what
Oh,
I
okay.
know. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I'll
I
have
may
to check it
have
out.
to. I
It's
mean, I
not
do
like a
love them.
Substack or anything like that.
I don't know. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Just on his website. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
But
I
thank
will
you,
be picking
Chris.
that up. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Um,
Well,
I'm trying
is
to
there
think if
anything
there's
else
anything.
we haven't covered? Because I have a big
No.
ultimate end question when you're ready that
I
I
don't
just
like
thought of.
this. I don't like when you do this.
You don't like it? You don't like it? Why?
I feel like I'm
What's
gonna
that mean?
stumble. I'm gonna
Oh no,
stumble.
you're gonna nail it. It's gonna be great.
Let's see. All right, shoot.
Technically, all the stories are the same use. Thanks, Chris. Because
Okay.
that makes sense, though. I
Well,
guess having read the
let's
steeple.
yeah. Let's go.
Okay, you're good. You're
Ready.
good. Okay,
Okay.
it's really just anyone watching. Why would you tell someone who maybe they're not interested in reading this? Maybe they're like, I wouldn't like this. Why should someone who's watching who hasn't read it read Giant Days?
Okay.
I feel like that's a great way to end this.
Right. So I'm just gonna speak. Well, I guess I'm gearing more towards the traditional comic book reader that only thinks about superheroes and things like that. I think you should read it because, like me, I was narrow minded and thought that the medium only does superheroes. And this is a comedy in book form. Just from the artwork, like we said, the expressions, the comedic timing on certain things, the writing. So that alone, this will make you want to explore really what the medium could do. Um, it is a great series. It's you could just pick up a trade, put it down, read something else, come back to it. But you're not going to do that. You're going to read it all because it's that good. Yes, I mean, stellar artwork, stellar writing, great story, awesome character development. That is for me the sole reason, because in a bunch of like these superhero comics and stuff, you don't really see character development like this.
It's so true.
The characters are really fleshed out well. And let me see. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice. I think there's
No, I
definitely
think you're, and I think we're
more.
repeating a lot of what we've been saying, right? But I think you're absolutely right. Especially like you want to go on a ride with these characters and have a lot of laughs, experience great character development, but actually
Right.
see them fleshed out to the point where there is a start and an end.
Right.
And you're going to be satisfied. I don't know who could go through the whole journey and get to that end and not be like, I'm so glad I did this,
Yeah. Well, here's another point. If you are ever in a, maybe in a, you're just down, you're in a mood, you're for whatever reason sad, depressed, you just pick up one of these books and it'll make you laugh. I guarantee you it'll make you laugh.
So true. It is a true comfort read.
Oh, absolutely. It immediately pulled me out of what I was feeling at the time, because there was a couple moments where I was definitely in that mood and I started reading and I was like, Gabby, look at this, So yeah, that's another reason why you should definitely read it. Just have it in your back pocket and just be like, okay, well, I need a laugh right here. And this will definitely do that. So
I think that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And the perfect way to end it. Giant Days is the best. I'm so glad you loved it too. And
I owe you a lot for telling me about this. So
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled you loved it. Thank you for going on this journey with me and talking to me about it. We'll definitely have to do something again. Yeah, for sure.
Read these other books from John.
Absolutely.
Nelson. Now, is there anything close to this that you would recommend?
So
that's not written by Allison?
Well, I'm known to recommend two series a lot, sometimes together, which would be Giant Days. Right. And then I'm like, but also have you read Lumberjanes?
Oh, right.
Because I feel like these are two total joys of a read. You're also going to get
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful characters. You're going to care about all of them. You're going to have a hard time picking favorites.
Okay.
And it's so fun. You will have laugh out loud moments. This is more mature. Absolutely. These are like
That was
younger
gonna be my
girls.
question. That was
This
gonna be
is
my
more
question.
mature.
Sure.
But I think fans of either one will like the other, you know?
Okay.
And it's certainly more all ages.
Right.
But it's such a blast, and the art is nonstop good too,
I do
and the
like the art a
writing's
lot.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a true joy, and as long as, you're not one of those people who are like, I don't like comics that are like all ages or whatever, then you'll be great. Like I think you will enjoy this. It is a blast. And this is where I would tell you to go to if you want another comfort read. I feel like this is a great one too.
Okay.
And I pick it up when I want to have a blast. So
Okay.
in
Gotcha.
fact, I would reread this with you if you want to go on another journey with me.
How many hardcovers is that?
Well, here's the
Because you
deal.
know I got to get the hardcovers. Don't tell me it stops, Kristen. Do not tell me it stops.
I have to. Boom has done me dirty twice now.
Oh my Lord.
2 of my all-time favorite series, Giant Days and Lumberjanes, do not finish in hardcover. It makes me so sad. There are 6 of these hardcovers.
Okay.
There should be, I believe, several more. It has ended. I know there are too many. However, I will say I don't know how hard these are to find.
I mean, I've seen them pretty.
Yeah, maybe they're
regularly.
very accessible still.
Mhm.
And I have a very strong feeling and prediction that because of the success of a series like this on Kickstarter and what they did with the library editions, I think the same thing's going to happen here, and they're going to complete these versions as well as maybe offer a new one. I think they're going to do exactly the same thing. I don't know I don't know anything. I have no inside information, unfortunately. However, I really have a strong feeling that's going to happen. Hopefully next year. So I know you don't have Hoopla access though, do you? Because they're all on there. I know, that's such a bummer.
Are they on Comixology, you think?
You know what? They may be, because I know there's a lot of Boom on there.
Because Giant Days, the whole thing is if you are, you pay the
unlimited.
$5, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they may be on there then. Check that out. Yeah, look into that. I'll look too. But that'll be a great way to do it, because I do think. Also, I do recommend these. They're also really nice, and they're textured, and they look nice, right?
I've held them in my hand.
They feel nice, right?
Yeah. Because I was gonna pull the trigger, and I was like, "All right, maybe not right now," and then I would put it back.
Yeah. But, yes, unfortunately, they stopped putting these out. And there are also some prose books. Yes, there's one Giant Days prose book as well. There's one.
What?
There's one Giant Days prose book, and there's several Lumberjanes prose books. So if that's something you're interested in, I actually still have. I own that. I still haven't read it. So
is that readily available?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find that at your local Ollie's, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally available.
Okay, I'll have to find that. That's something I would definitely read.
If you have trouble finding it, let me know, because I feel like my Ollie's still has copies. So
you don't have Ollie's.
I can hook you up. Well, I can hook you up.
Okay.
You don't have Ollie's because you're not in the middle of nowhere.
That's also true.
I am. So that's the only reason I have Ollie's.
But the peace and quiet, I'm sure, over there is nice.
I mean, yeah, but look at your nice background there. It's so lovely. You're rolling your eyes.
Yeah. I walk outside, immediately I'm bombarded by people. So,
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Chris knows everything. Thank you for being here, Chris, with all the knowledge. Chris. I appreciate you.
Amazing.
Yes, they're on Comixology Unlimited. Okay, thank you.
Then
so people watching this as well, if you want to read Giant Days, Comixology Unlimited. If you don't want to pay for it all, there you go.
And
as well as
you're gonna read the beginning of Giant Days, and you're like, if you are a collector of books in physical form, you're gonna want to buy these books.
There you go. There you go. Oh, Typebiter, thanks for being here. And James, Lumberjanes is going to be an animated series movie on HBO Max, but they haven't been another update on it in a very long time. I am very bummed about that. I think they actually did update to say it's not happening anymore, which is a bummer. Mary's saying we need an Ollie's in this area, Joe.
Yeah. I know Mary. I think she's in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give her location away, but
Jersey's a big state.
Yeah, it's a big state.
It's a state. Yeah. People are there. Yeah. I can tell you I'm in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, other people here.
But yeah, I'll get on those. I'll start reading them, and we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, let me know because we can talk about this too. It'll be a blast,
Absolutely.
I think.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for going on this ride with me.
Like I said, I owe you because this was an eye opener. Like this was this like I said, this was the story that got me to read other books, got me into crime books, and got me because it was like, oh, this is what this medium could do. So
love that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for loving it and talking about it with me. And I look forward to more. And thank you everybody for watching. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.